morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Clap your hands, clap, clap, clap. Stomp your feet, stomp, stomp, stomp. Spin around, spin, spin, spin. Alright. Good morning, good morning, good morning. 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 Wash your hands, wash, wash, wash. Shake your hands, shake, shake, shake. Brush your teeth, brush, brush, brush. Alright. Good morning.
Show yourself.
You big dummy.
Good morning, Internet. It's Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right. It's me, Uncle Lou, live for you on LouTube today. Thanks for watching. Man, I sure do appreciate it. This is the morning show with Uncle Lou and BVD. BVD will be joining us here shortly, soon in that. I seen him in the comment section, so he is alive. He'll be calling in here in a few minutes. And we will spend the next hour or so regaling you with tales of the stupid. That's right. Courtesy of me and BVD. We also have a special co-host on with us today, Jeff W. We'll be giving him a call here in a few minutes. I'm patching him into the show. And we'll try to figure out how stupid he is. I don't doubt he's as stupid as me and BVD, but the possibility exists that he is at least some amount of stupid. Brian Biak, thank you for the super chat right off the bat this morning. He says, show yourself. I did. That super chat convinced me. It really did. I was going to do the whole show, like this, or even darker. There's another light over there. I'm not getting up to turn it off, but you get the general idea. But since you took it upon yourself to bless me and BVD with a super chat, I decided to grant your wish and show myself. Oh, here I is. Anyway, like I said, or was in the process of saying, this is the morning show with Uncle Lou and BVD. And guess what? We do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. That's right. Join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. right here on LouTube. Don't forget about the night show that I do every Tuesday and Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, Uncle Lou After Dark. It's a college football call-in show. Now, that one is 100% college football 100% of the time. This show here, well, I don't know what this show is. This show is like potpourri and makes about as much sense, too, also. But doesn't smell as good. So, but listen, you got in life, as in, and in LouTube, you have to take the good with the bad, right? You just have to. Okay? I know nobody wants to see a Georgia State schedule preview, but guess what? I have to do one. So, but, you want the Georgia preview, you want South Carolina. You want Tennessee. Those are the good. You have to also watch Georgia State, North Carolina, Minnesota. I mean, this is just the way it goes, okay? So, anyway. Shout out to Celine Driver. I saw him in the comment section this morning. He is sponsoring the morning show with Uncle Lou and BVD. Sponsored, last week, this week. He's good people in that. Also, and next week, too, I think. Anyway, the show is sponsored by Celine Driver. You know him. Some of you love him. Some of you love to hate him. Whatever the case, he's sponsoring the show. So appreciate that, Celine Driver. You guys check him out. Click his name in the comment section. It'll take you over to his channel, and you can check it out. Support the ones that are supporting the show. Let's do that, right? So check him out. Your one-stop channel for car and watch entertainment and info. You've been sitting around most of your life probably going, you know what I wish there was? A YouTube channel that focused solely on cars and watches. Well, wish no more. All of your hopes and dreams have come to fruition. Check out Celine Driver, the official watch consultant of the morning show. And other than Celine Driver, if there's anybody else who always knows what time it is, it's BVD. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, and that and stuff. I was gonna call you earlier, like 5 minutes ago, but I was checking out a Celine Driver watch video and I got preoccupied. So my apologies to the good folks out there that were eagerly anticipating my bright and early phone call.
Yeah, which was at least one or two, I would assume, in here.
At least.
That were anticipating.
That's not even counting myself.
Right. And it's not counting me either because I don't necessarily fit into that category.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
I heard that we've got a real professional coming on the show today.
We have someone who actually earns a living in the college football business.
That's pretty impressive.
Of course, I earn a living in the college football business. So I'm not real sure how impressive that really is.
Well, you said someone that earns a living in the college football business. I just assumed you weren't talking about a Clemson player.
Oh, man.
Yep, that's right. I also listen to Uncle Lou after dark.
Wow. Anyway, what's going on today, BVD? Anything exciting?
Well, if you consider trying to figure out what's wrong with a 15-year-old vehicle that's all of a sudden decided to stop working properly, no, nothing exciting whatsoever.
I know who might be able to help you with that. The official sponsor of the morning show with Uncle Lou and BVD, Celine Driver. Check out Celine Driver's YouTube channel. He's your one-stop channel for car and watch entertainment and info.
See how we did that, guys? See how we how I set him up to segue right into a sponsorship promotion.
Hashtag professional AF.
Mm-hmm.
And to
how
be
are
honest,
you this morning?
I'm great. I'm getting a little sick of some of the comments I'm seeing that are maybe suggesting that we're not professionals. Not
Uncle
now,
Lou,
but I'm saying just in general, I see comments from time to time that sort of, almost like backhanded compliments, and I'm like, wait a minute, are they insinuating that we're not professionals? Sure.
I understand that you only devote, 70, 80 hours a week to this. So, you'll have to add to your list of things that you do in order to better the show the fact that some people don't like you.
Wait, what?
It's tough. I know. I
What?
mean, yeah. Took me a long time to get over that one.
Yeah,
About 53 years.
man, that hurts my feelings first thing in the morning.
Well, that's getting your day started off on the right foot. That way, everything else the rest of the day, will kind of be downhill from here.
I guess. How much time should we waste this morning talking about college football? 5, 10, or 15 minutes?
Well, considering we've got a professional college football dude coming on the show,
Oh, we're not
at
talking
least,
college football with him. No.
at least 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
Let's go ahead and get that rule, that new transfer rule out of the way. How about that?
All right. Well, now, this is something I have been talking about on my nighttime call-in show for a couple of years. Really, since people really started complaining about the transfers and how they work and why does this person get a waiver but that person doesn't get a waiver and, blah, 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 and the grad transfer thing and then the Kelly Bryant thing at Clemson. And I started saying, why don't you just let people transfer one time, no questions asked? None, zero. It doesn't matter, rhyme or reason. You want to transfer, you don't need anybody's permission. There's no blacklisting certain schools. If you're at Georgia and you want to go to Florida, go. If you're at Tennessee and you want to go to Alabama, go. If you're at Michigan and you want to go to Ohio State, go. One time, no questions asked, no sitting out, nothing. You want to transfer a second time, you sit out 1 year, period. There is no waiver process. Your mother gets struck by lightning, sorry. Because that's the problem. The problem is not the transfers. It's not the number of transfers. It's not the players that are transferring. It's not the schools they're transferring to or from. The problem is this person gets to play this year, that person doesn't. That's the problem. And, It's 2020. Everything has to be fair. Just ask Auburn. Everything has to be fair in 2020. Well, it's not fair, D'Angelo Gibbs had to sit out a year. Aubrey Solomon didn't. Why is that fair? Justin Fields got to play right away. Luke Ford had to sit out. Why is that fair? Life ain't fair, but God forbid these kids learn that in college. But so I'm all for that. Let them transfer. But the second time around, you change your mind a second time, sorry, you're sitting out 1 year, period. There is no way around it. Your coach quits, sorry. Your sick family member, sorry. Some racist redneck drunk dumb fuck calls you the N-word from half a mile away, sorry.
I understand that a lot of, if not maybe most of these kids commit and sign at a school because of a coach, because they fell in love with Coach X and, he schmoozed their family and brought them chocolates and, called them 2 or 3 extra times above other coach. I get that. But ultimately, aren't you really committing and signing to the university? Isn't that, you're not wearing your coach's name on the front of your jersey when you're out there playing? No.
Well, yeah, I totally get that. But, at the same time, I don't want to be totally naive about it either. There's a reason, take Sam Pittman as an example at Georgia. Great recruiter, great coach. Georgia did sign some number of offensive linemen solely because of Sam Pittman. I don't know what that number is. I don't know if that's part of the Cade Mays deal. I have no clue. I don't know. But I do think that matters. But I still agree with what you're saying. This is the real world you're dealing with here. Coaches come and go. That's nothing new in college football. I understand if you go to a school because you really like their position coach. Maybe they have a history of getting guys like you into the NFL, whatever the case. I totally get that. But you have to understand that these coaches' jobs are not guaranteed any more than your scholarship is guaranteed. A coach could be fired. He could choose to leave for a promotion at another school. I mean, there's just any number of things that could happen. So I mean, I get that a kid would be upset or disappointed if he was in love with his position coach and they transferred out. I totally get that. But like you said, at the same time, best to commit to a school, not a coach or a coaching staff or whatever. But I think this is a rule that they need to just go ahead and put into place. I don't think it's going to ruin college football or any. I think that's going a little bit overboard. Well, if a kid doesn't want to ride the bench for 3 years and thinks he can do better somewhere else, let him go. I mean, I'm fine with that. Well, whether it's riding the bench or another reason, coach leaves, whatever. But one time, and if they make this rule, then I don't want any other immediate eligibility transfers. Then the waiver process just needs to go away, because that's the problem. It's the lack of transparency, right? We can sit here, and I've done it for a year now. We can sit here and speculate about what did Justin Fields and his attorney say to the NCAA, what was on their waiver paperwork, what this, what that. And, you got, as we get ready to watch the numbers go down here, but you got racists on both sides of that argument, white and black, and you're not changing their mind. They were in the room when Justin Fields and his lawyer were talking to the NCAA, and they know exactly what happened. And if you don't believe them, they'll tell you over and over again. Justin Fields is the white racist will tell you Justin Fields is a crybaby who was mad because he couldn't beat out Jake Fromm, so he used the excuse of his feelings being hurt by being called the N-word by some drunk baseball player halfway up the stadium, and he's throwing UGA under the bus. I don't know why, but the point is, when we don't know why certain players are given a waiver and certain aren't, that's what leads to people having to speculate, because we don't know. Tate Martell was granted a waiver and played in one game. So when there's no transparency and we don't know for sure why certain players are given waivers and some aren't, then this is what happens. We're left to speculate, and that's when people get mad and start making stuff up. And Luke Ford, the tight end from Georgia, transferred. He was from Illinois, gets to Georgia, can't get on the field. That's number one. Couldn't get on the field. Then all of a sudden, his granddaddy gets sick in Illinois after he can't get on the field. So he wants to transfer back closer to home. Great. Fine. NCAA didn't grant him a waiver. Why? The eligibility requirements for immediate playing time for a waiver when it comes to sick relatives specifically in the rule exclude grandparents. Now, I'm not here to say whether that rule is right or wrong, but it shouldn't have been a surprise to Luke Ford or anyone else that he applied for a waiver for a reason specifically barred in the waiver rules and then was denied.
Yeah,
but
that's
people
on.
point to him, but him and Justin Fields both left Georgia. You got a certain percentage of the fan base that fall into the category I mentioned earlier, and they don't want to hear any of that. Luke Ford should have been, Justin Fields should have had to sit out. And then 5 minutes later, Luke Ford should have been granted immediate eligibility. Well, which is it? I mean, you got to be consistent here. You either want everybody to play right away or you want none of them to play. But, the bottom line is, whatever the reason that Justin Fields was granted eligibility, he found a reason within the rules that applied to him. Luke Ford did not. Brenton Cox did not. Brenton Cox transferred to Florida. He had to sit out from Georgia. So, D'Angelo Gibbs, y'all got D'Angelo Gibbs, right? He had to sit out. Aubrey Solomon got immediate playing time. Why?
Yeah, there's definitely no rhyme or reason to any of it, and
that's
it's almost like the phrase "rules are rules." We hear that as kids growing up all the time. Little Lou, rules are rules. You got to follow the rules. Well, that doesn't apply to everyone in this situation, like you're saying, and it becomes frustrating after a while. So I like the thought of one-time transfer, you play.
Yeah. So anyway,
second time, we'll see.
Yeah, what brought all this on is the NCAA has convened one of their quote-unquote panels or whatever the hell, and they're looking into adopting this rule: a one-time transfer, no penalty, meaning you don't need a reason and you don't have to sit out. The only reason you need is that you don't want to be at the school you're at. That's it. And you can go anywhere you want and you don't have to sit out.
Do you think that automatically?
I mean, you obviously have to go to a school that will take you, but it's not like you can just call Nick Saban up and say, I'll be there tomorrow. I mean, you have to go to a school that will take you, but there will be no sitting out. So if a team wants,
you think that automatically increases the number of transfers? I mean, we're already seeing a shit pot full of them anyway now, more than you or I ever saw growing up, of course.
I'm not real sure how much of an impact it will have on the total number of transfers overall, because the vast majority of transfers are already getting a waiver one way or another. So I'm not sure how many people there are out there, sophomores or juniors or whatever, that are sitting around going, man, I would transfer, but I'm scared I won't get a waiver. I don't know. I'm sure there are some, but I doubt it's as many maybe as we think it is. Now, here's something I didn't know from reading this article earlier this morning. I don't know how many sports there are at most colleges, but I'm guessing somewhere in the 20s. I mean, there's a lot when you talk about men's and women's teams. There's a lot, from swimming to diving to equestrian to soccer to, ice hockey, lacrosse, wrestling. I mean, there are a ton of sports at every college. Did you know, BVD, let me find this. Athletes in every sport except 5 are already allowed a one-time transfer with no penalty. Did you
not know that?
I didn't know that either.
Did not know that.
Clearly, football is one of the 5 that doesn't allow it, right? Do you know any guess what the other 4 are?
Oh, God. Baseball, basketball. No, I don't have a guess. I'm sure I'll be surprised.
You're 2 for 2.
Okay, baseball, basketball, softball.
Nope.
No.
It's of course football, men's basketball. If you transfer, so here's the 5 sports where you have to sit out if you transfer in theory, or at least apply for a waiver: football, men's basketball, women's basketball, baseball, and men's ice hockey. Any other sport, gymnastics, lacrosse, wrestling, diving, swimming, whatever you can name, any other sport, you can transfer to any school you want that will take you, and you do not have to sit out. It's just those 5 that require you to sit out a year. I did not know that. I just assumed it was like a general athletic scholarship rule.
Yeah.
I had no clue until I read that article, and I pulled it up again now to make sure I got the 5 sports right, and that's what they are: football, men's basketball, women's basketball, baseball, and men's
so
ice hockey.
Let's just say hypothetically you are part of the crew team at Harvard and you're not happy. You can hop in your little boat and row it right on down to Yale and row for Yale that day. Basically, is what you're saying.
Well, it doesn't say in this article, but I'm assuming no, you can't do that within like you saying the next day, the next year.
Right.
Well,
the general purpose meaning, without any hassle.
Right. I mean, you can't leave in the middle of a season and join another team like a trade in Major League Baseball or something. I mean, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have to wait till the following
season. The NCAA rule book's already thicker than the Bible. So, I mean, trying to decipher all these rules and how they work and how they apply and whether you can appeal this or that, it's all a big mess anyway. So that's why we have guys like you to figure it all out, and guys like me to just sit back and say, Outstanding job, Lou. I'm glad you looked that up for me because I sure as hell wasn't going to spend any time doing it. I'll just wait and see what happens. That's how lazy I've gotten with college football and recruiting and rules and all the new crap that it seems like as fans we're having to deal with.
Yeah.
This day and age versus 30 years ago.
Celine Driver, thank you for a couple of super chats here. He says, good morning from your favorite NASCAR fan. Thank you, sir. And then he says, great policy, which means it will never happen. The NCAA is kind of like
Driver.
The NCAA is kind of like the federal government. Like, a lot of the answers seem so simple, which, like Celine Driver is saying, probably means they're never going to happen. Like, it just seems like certain groups or organizations or whatever you want to call it, whether in this case it's the NCAA, federal government, whatever, it just seems like they look for the most complicated way possible to solve any issue. So
I got an idea, Lou.
That's a first.
I think, yeah, it is. I think we should get Mr. Jeff in here and see what he thinks about all this.
No, we're not talking sports with him.
Okay.
That's why we're getting this out of the way now. This isn't a sports show.
That's right. I forget.
Yeah. Skid Row, thank you for the super chat. He says, good morning. I'm actually up for the morning show. Congratulations. That's great news. Thank you for tuning in. Me and BVD appreciate you watching, and we definitely appreciate the super chat. So thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. Yeah. All right. One more thing I want to do here, and then we will get Jeff W. on the phone and talk about.
Lou, would you read that super chat again? That last one from Skid Row.
Good morning. I'm actually up for 3 morning show.
For 3 morning show. I just caught that.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
You technically, you would really have to stay up for 5 days straight to be up for 3 morning show.
Yeah, 3 of these anyway.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
That is impressive. Even more impressive now that I read it correctly. 3 morning show. I assumed he was only up for 1. That was impressive enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm impressed every morning when we start the show on time or close to on time.
You didn't even have to sit in traffic for an hour and a half this morning.
No need.
To get on the morning show on time.
All right. This is something I'm going to start doing every once in a while on here. It's going to be the best/dumbest thing I saw on YouTube yesterday.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before, BVD, these rabbit holes on YouTube. And, you know, some of them are amazing. Like I don't know how I ever come across some of these things, but I come across some of the strangest things on YouTube. And some of them are like literally amazing. And I end up sometimes for an hour, like, you know, before you even know it, an hour is gone. And I've done watched 20 videos on whatever this happens to be or whatever. This isn't one of those type of things, but I don't know how this showed up in on my recommended or where I found this yesterday. But you remember the show Seinfeld, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. You remember the theme song to Seinfeld?
Yeah, the basically the bass lick.
Yeah, this is a guy playing that on a bass guitar, and he plays it 5 different ways from simple to impossible. And we're all going to watch it because that's what I want to do. Enjoy.
Yo, play Seinfeld. Seinfeld.
Now, that's why you watch the morning show with Uncle Lou. Admit it. That's why you're not going to find things like this anywhere else, people. So I don't know what else to tell you other than you're welcome on that.
I'm definitely grateful for that because I'm not going to say former, but I did used to play a bass, and I was thoroughly impressed by that. Seriously, not joking. That was pretty badass, actually.
You know, that is like an iconic song. I mean, you can hear like right away when I said it, you said, "Oh, bass guitar." Like it is an iconic theme song. But I'm going to admit here, I bet you I have not seen 5 episodes of Seinfeld.
Oh, I can promise you I haven't. In fact, I don't think I've seen one complete episode.
And it's not like the episodes I've seen I like. It's not that I don't like the show. I don't know if maybe it was on or was getting popular during a time where just watching TV wasn't a thing I did. Wasn't that in the 90s? So I guess I would have been in high school, I guess. I was in high school from 92 to 96.
Yeah,
seems
Seinfeld.
Like that's about when Seinfeld was on, I guess. Right?
Seinfeld, yeah. I think you had to. His brand of humor was not funny to me. I mean, but, obviously it was to millions of other people because he was uber successful at it. Continue with your point, sir.
Yeah, no. So I don't really know why I didn't watch it, other than I guess when it was on, I guess I was in high school. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head the years that Seinfeld was on, but it seems like it was on during my high school years, 92 to 96. Maybe it went on a little longer than that, and I guess I just wasn't into sitcoms at that time or something. But because, like I said, the episodes that I have seen, because Seinfeld's one of those shows now. It comes on like 9 different channels now. Like it's almost like Law and Order. Like almost any time of the day, you can find an episode of Seinfeld on somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Law and Order is that way too. And
Cheers,
so I have
seen,
I have seen some of the episodes, and like the ones I've seen I like, but for whatever reason, I just must not have been into watching TV or something at that particular time. But one of the most popular shows of all time, I think, Seinfeld. But I never really got into it.
Do you remember what you were watching when you got fed that video, when you got sent down that hole?
No. Now, I do watch a lot of music reaction videos.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that had something to do. YouTube will just, they know what you watch and stuff, and they recommend sort of things that might be related to that some kind of way. Like I like watching. Let's get the guy on the phone now that we're not talking football anymore. Let's do that. Let's get Jeff W on the phone in that. All right, I'm gonna add him in real quick.
All right.
Is that the right number? Well, we'll find out. If he answers, it's the right number. If someone else answers, then not the right number.
Please enjoy this Verizon ringback tone while your party is
Not a
waiting.
ringback tone. You there?
Yeah, good morning and all that.
Oh, man. A ringback tone in 2020? Yikes.
Fashion.
Yikes. You there, BVD?
Yes.
All right. We have successfully completed yet another 3-way call. This is amazing. BVD, well, first of all, Jeff W., welcome to the morning show with Uncle Lou and BVD. Take a minute or two, introduce yourself to the people for those that may not know you or who you are or what you do, or you can give as little or as much information as you want.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm not so sure I qualify as professional, but I do shoot sideline photographs at Iowa State home football games, and I also shoot a little bit, not oftentimes, but sometimes at the AAA Chicago Cubs team, which is based in Des Moines, the Iowa Cubs. So I got some interesting baseball stories from there. But I'm an '89 Bama grad. Grew up 3 blocks from where Abraham Lincoln's buried in Springfield, Illinois. And I love Uncle Lou and BVD. And I've been to both of your favorite schools' stadiums and enjoyed myself both times there. Love the traditions all over the SEC. That was one of the highlights of being a Bama student in the late '80s when we weren't that good. But I got to go on to a lot of road games and loved going to Baton Rouge, loved going to Oxford, loved going to Athens and Knoxville. It was a lot of fun. The only place we didn't go was the hellhole, because at that time the Iron Bowl was still played in Birmingham.
That's right. Yeah.
Might want to consider yourself fortunate for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, BBD. I'm so damn old. When I was in Neyland Stadium, they didn't have the checkerboard painted there yet.
Well, if you graduated from Bama in '89, you would be very close, if not the same age as myself.
Yeah, I'm on the downhill slope and gaining speed. Listen, hey, real quick, just to get it out there for the comment section in case they want to say something. 2 big important anniversaries happening this weekend, or coming up in the next few days. One of those is the 40th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice, which to me is one of the greatest sporting events ever.
Oh yeah.
And the other one is the idiots at the University of Illinois forcing Chief Illiniwek out as the mascot. That happened in 2007, and I'm still not over that. So and Illinois hasn't done shit since then, and it's because they got rid of the chief. They pissed off the sports gods. It'd be like if they told Smokey to go away and Uga to go away because they don't want to offend the PETA crowd. Because you're embarrassing dogs by having them on the sidelines.
Well,
Stupid.
BVD will tell you, but PETA does that every year to Georgia and Tennessee, and we give them the finger and tell them to screw off. But I have a question about the Illinois mascot. Was it an actual engine, or was it a white guy painted up as an engine like Florida State?
A white guy. Now, here's the key.
Well, he deserved to be banned. You got to have a real engine.
Well, the problem with that is, and you can look it up if you don't believe me, the Illiniwek Indians, who the state of Illinois was named after, and who the university took the Fighting Illini from, are extinct. The tribe doesn't exist anymore. They were killed off by the Black Hawk and Sac and Fox Indians. So the French explorers met this tribe called the Illiniwek, and when the Americans got over there in around 1800 into the Illinois territory, they said, "Where are these tribes that you traded with called the Illiniwek?" And the other Indians told them, "Well, they're all dead." So he was a mascot for the band, and they started it in maybe the 1920s or so. Got a hold of the Sioux Nation, and the Sioux Nation created a uniform, for him to wear, and a headdress and everything. And so it was to honor this tribe, but of course it's a white guy doing it, so he was making fun of them, so he had to go.
I hear what you're saying, that the Illini or whatever is extinct, and God rest their soul in that. But the thing is, Billy the Kid is dead too. But if you make a movie, you're probably going to find a white guy to play him,
right?
Because he was white. That's like saying, "Man, I really want a ham sandwich," and you look in the fridge and all that's in there is turkey. So you say, "Screw it," and you go out in the backyard and eat a spoon of dirt. Because I mean, like I get it. There's no actual Illini, okay, but there are a handful of actual engines floating around, though.
Yes,
and I'm sure there's even a handful of them still up in Illinois. Maybe even going to the university.
Could be. I know. Mrs. Lou would be the first to tell us that Florida State gets away with Chief Osceola and the Seminoles because they have a financial agreement with the Seminole tribe, who makes a lot of money off Florida State using their name, so they don't have a problem with it.
Oh yeah, they stood up right away and said, "Screw you guys! You're not taking Seminoles away from Florida State." I mean, they made it right when all this shit started back years ago. All this political correct, we don't like your nickname garbage started.
But I don't think that using an engine to portray an engine is being politically correct. I think it's just being accurate. Like if I say they're going to make a movie about Barack Obama, Well, they should probably get a black guy to play Barack Obama. That's not politically correct. That's just historically accurate.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yep, fair enough.
Politically
There's
correct
probably,
is saying
if enough-
politically correct would be saying Illinois should not be called the Illini anymore, and Florida State should not be
Politically
called the
correct would all-
Seminoles.
Politically correct, I guess, would also be if, say, 500 people were listening to this show right now, and one of them happened to be an Indian or a Native American.
A what?
They might say, Uncle Lou,
Oh, you mean
stop
Indian.
calling us an Injun.
Oh,
You know.
that's just my southern dialect.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
Speaking of Southern dialect, I'm wondering, I saw on the Weather Channel this morning that the temperature actually dipped below 40 degrees in Georgia, and that they had 3 inches of snow in Raleigh, which I don't think is too far from you, BBD, and I was wondering if both of you guys are going to survive.
Barely for me.
Yeah, Raleigh's in a world of snow trouble right now. It's been like 2 years since they've had snow over there, and I imagine the whole place was shut down. It's
Yes.
actually not that close, Jeff. It's about 5 hours from here, but still.
Okay.
They usually get ice in Raleigh.
Well, I had a story when I was a junior at Bama, and it was maybe the third or fourth week of January. We'd just come back for the spring semester. Bama's on semesters, or at least they were then. I don't know if they're on tries now, but they were on semesters at that time. And they got about 2 inches of snow. I mean, it was over the top of your shoes. It had snow in Tuscaloosa up to about your ankles. And me and a buddy of mine who just happened to be from Green Bay, Wisconsin, got in our cars, and Tuscaloosa is about 100,000 people, so it's not a small town. And we just thought we'd just drive around and see what place looked like in the snow. We got about 2 blocks off campus, and a Tuscaloosa cop sitting cockeyed in the middle of the biggest damn intersection in town. He woo, woo, woo. What the hell are you guys doing? I said, we're going out to look at the snow. Well, by God, the whole damn town's closed. I said, you mean we're just going to go to Winn-Dixie and get some groceries? Winn-Dixie's closed, you dumbasses. Don't you see it snowed? Get your ass back to campus. I couldn't believe it.
I need you to do me a favor, and Melissa May, make sure you're paying attention. I need you to make the police noise again.
Oh, for Melissa, the Bama babe. Woo, woo. Yeah, that's what.
I couldn't tell if he was doing a police noise, an Indian war cry, or he was saying Uncle Woo.
I was just going, woo, who they played.
Or if he was humming Rocky Top in the back of his head and got hung up in the middle of the song.
I was definitely not humming Rocky Top. But BVD, I got a Tennessee story for you.
I'm sure you do.
Now listen, this I happen to be blessed, and it was a blessing in 2012, and that's why I emailed Lou the picture of the credential from it, because I was going to talk about it. I happened to be able to be there to take pictures when the NCAA women had the Sweet 16 and the round of 8 in Des Moines, and that was Kansas, Georgia Tech, Baylor, and Tennessee. And Baylor ended up beating Tennessee. Yep.
See what you've done, Jeff?
I know. See where I started? I told you that the level of this show was going to drop if he put me on.
Actually, you probably, Jeff, you probably just created a new hot button for the Lou Show.
Could have. I love the big dummy, so maybe the woo-woo will be there now. But anyway, I saw, and it just happened to be that it was Pat Summitt's last game because Tennessee had lost. Mm-hmm. But I had the pleasure in between the games to do an interview with the Tennessee cheerleaders. And 2 of the girls were prohibited from doing any stunts because they had bad backs. And I think every one of the guys, and they were built like linebackers, had bad wrists and bad shoulders. And I couldn't believe it. I learned a lot about cheerleading that day. I had a new respect for the cheerleaders thanks to the University of Tennessee, because they talked about how hard they practice and how they're all hurt from all their stunts. So, woo-woo to the Rocky Top cheerleaders.
Well, you know, all the Alabama male cheerleaders can't keep their wrists in good shape from toting up all them hefty Bama chicks all the time. So
Well, that and probably something else.
Yeah, there's two people that you never make fun of, no matter how big and how tough you think you are. Never make fun of a male cheerleader to their face, and by all means, never talk shit to a male gymnast. You will almost assuredly get your ass kicked.
I've told this story before. I don't, off the top of my head, I don't think we had male cheerleaders at my high school when I was in high school, but we didn't have a gymnast team or anything either. But we had there was a set of twins at our school, and one of them actually ended up he almost made the Olympics. He made the junior Olympic team. This guy, this is the strongest human being I have ever seen with my own, like, in person. It was now he was gymnasts are small, and this guy was small. I don't know how tall he was, but he was like 5'4" maybe. I mean, really short, but he was nothing but muscle. I mean, it was unbelievable. The things he could do was unbelievable. Those gymnasts ain't no joke. You definitely don't want to mess with one of those people.
No, we actually had male gymnasts at the high school I went to in Ohio. The big high school, man. They have sports at that high school, but that schools in the South still don't have to this day. And you're right, man. Those, even in high school, I think if I remember right, there was about 5 male gymnasts on that gymnastics team, and none of them got made fun of. That's for damn sure. The football players, they learned real quick not to mess with those dudes.
The comment section is now requesting a woo woo T-shirt to be made, so we might have to look into that. Let me get caught up on these super chats, and then we'll get back to this riveting conversation. In that, Skid Row says, I guess that typo. Of course, he said he's been up. He's been up for 3 morning show. Now he says, I guess that typo means I'm not all the way up. You're like the BVD version of up. Outstanding. Thank you for the super chat, Skid Row. And Waikiki, thank you, sir. He says, you all ever seen the guys that take dirt and a rock, turn it into an underground pool with a slide? I played that video on an UNCLELOU After Dark last offseason. And when I say that video, there's thousands of them. That is literally amazing. Have you ever seen that, BVD? You know what he's talking about?
No, I was going to ask.
It's like these Aborigine type people. It appears to me that they're like in South America. I think they're in a jungle, and they literally have loincloths on, and that's it. No shoes, no shirts, nothing. And it's usually 2 of them in the video, and they start out with nothing but land, and they each have a stick. And they make some of the most amazing, like he says, houses. They'll make a house with an underground pool and a slide, and they make it all by hand. They make their own mud. They use that to make the walls. It's unbelievable. What's today? Friday? Monday? We'll show some of that on Monday. It's unreal. It's amazing. I know exactly.
I'm not gonna last till Monday. I'm gonna be searching this up after the show's over.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But I tell you what, I'll look one up in that.
While you're looking that up,
yeah, y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna look this up and go get a refill on my coffee. I'll be back in a minute or two, and we'll see what we can find.
Celine Driver says that Lou's obviously suffering from sleep deprivation. Celine Driver is one person that should never suffer from sleep deprivation with all the watches he has. He should always know what time it is at any time during the day. What were you going to say, Jeff?
Well, I was going to say we'll have to tell you while Lou reloads the caffeine.
I'm just amazed that I did not know that you went to Alabama until just now. I don't know how I let that one slip by me. Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, obviously we could joke with each other, but
sure. I called your show before. I called one night and we had a really good conversation talking about Jaquan Jennings. Uh, and that was the first time I got on the BVD show, and so we talked about Jennings and the receiving core at Tennessee and some of the good receivers they've had over the years. You know what? One of the things that I wanted to bring up this morning and get your opinion and Lou's in the comments section. Am I the only person in America that's sick and tired of seeing coaches get Gatorade dumped on them? You know, when I was a guy growing up, when you won the Super Bowl or you won the championship or whatever, you picked up your coach and you carried him off on your shoulders. You know, the coach got the champion's ride out of the stadium, you know, and they don't do that anymore. They dumped the Gatorade on Bill Parcells in the '86 Super Bowl, and ever since then, they all want to get on camera and get the coach wet with the Gatorade. Hell, that's old. Let's move on. Time for something new.
It's not even so much that they're pouring Gatorade on these guys. You know, that to me is still, it's still acceptable and part of it. But it's like they're getting Gatorade dumped on them now for winning a damn fifth-rate mediocre bowl game. I mean, you know, it's just the reasons that these guys are doing that. And I'm watching this video.
Yeah, I'm watching it too.
I have it on mute and on 2x speed because it's a 16-minute video, but so we can just continue the conversation and people can watch it. But this is absolutely unbelievable what these two people do. And there's literally hundreds of these videos. You'll fall down this rabbit hole, but there's hundreds of these. I'm going to go get a refill. I'll be back in a minute.
This is the kind of crap that I'll end up watching all half of the day now. I wish we hadn't put this on there because now I'll get stuck. I'll go right down the damn rabbit hole with this.
You know what this looks like, Jeff? This looks like a couple of Georgia fans looking for their last national championship trophy.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm 53. I'm 53.
They're going to be digging for a while, aren't they?
I have to say I love Georgia.
I do too. I'm just taking a shot at Lou while he's not here.
We blew up their blackout in 2008. We went over there and we stomped their ass and we beat their ass in the 2012 SEC title game. And then we went over there and we stomped their ass in 2015. And then we beat them in the Natty on 2nd and 26. And then they ran the fake punt. And then we put Jalen back in and we beat them in the SEC title game. And now we're going to whip them up in week 3 over here. And Lou's going to have to drink another old Coke. I mean, I just love Georgia. They're good. They're good for my health.
I imagine if Georgia's good for your health, I can't even fathom what Tennessee's good for you guys.
Well, you know,
probably beyond even making jokes anymore.
I used to follow the tradition and smoke a cigar, which is as you well know, the third Saturday, whoever wins smokes a cigar. But I got tired of it. I got tired of it and I stopped. I don't have any animus. So I'm not one of these guys that I went to Bama, so I automatically got to hate LSU. I've got to hate Mississippi State. I got to hate Georgia. I got to hate Tennessee. I don't have time to hate anybody except Auburn. They consume so much of my hate that that everybody else is just kind of like teams that we play.
Well, that's not fair.
Auburn's actually beating you guys right now, so
that's
I
not
understand.
fair.
Don't bring that up again. You're gonna.
Hey,
that's not fair.
Yeah, it's bad enough they got to put up with the ultimate dull.
But it's not fair.
You know, there's a good joke about Auburn. It goes like this: the Auburn's practicing a Jordan hair, which they can't even pronounce the damn thing correctly. Jordan hair, and somebody's on the PA yelling "Roll Tide, Roll Tide," and Malzahn says to one of his linebackers, "Go up there and kick that guy's ass." About 5 minutes later, a guy comes down all beat up. And he says to 2 defensive linemen, "Go up there and kick that guy's ass. Tell him to quit yelling Roll Tide on the PA." They both come down, and they got the hell beat out of them. And finally, he says to the starting defense, "You guys go up there and kick that guy's ass." And one of them comes staggering back down out of the stands and says, "It's a trick, coach. There's 2 of them."
Yeah.
I need to interject here real quick on this video. Now, it's completely amazing what these two people have done so far. Now, keep in mind, these two people live in a jungle, right? They eat bugs and shit. This is where they're going to live. I want you to watch what they do here. this isn't enough for them. They're going to now make their own paint and paint their walls. Please continue.
Well, I know one thing. After seeing just this short little bit of this video that I've seen, I don't ever want to hear another native complain about their living conditions from this day forward, because that's some horse shit. This guy, I mean, they're not even halfway done, and this place is already a castle compared to what I live in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this thinking, hell, that's right up on the line there. That's better than half the houses of the town I live in.
Yeah, I almost crossed the line there with cheap labor, with a cheap labor joke.
Yeah, be careful. Be
Glad
careful.
I didn't do that.
Be careful.
It's crazy though. Oh, wait a minute. They brought bamboo into it.
I'll cross the line. Look at what these two people are doing, and then ask yourself if you think a wall is going to keep people like this out.
Oh, why the hell would they want to come here? They look like they're living pretty well where they're at.
Yeah, as long as they don't run out of dirt or bamboo.
Now, they made a hose pipe out of bamboo. Did y'all see that? That's like a half a mile of bamboo they just put together to the nearest creek or whatever, and now they're running water into this thing. They're making an indoor swimming pool in their house now.
Yeah. See, look, one of them's already laying down on the job. He'd never make it in the illegal labor.
Well, he might be union. He might be a union guy.
This is pretty crazy, though.
Mandatory break.
I've seen some videos where these, well, they're not natives, but just regular old run-of-the-mill Americans build these mud huts, and it's pretty amazing what they do, too, but nothing compared to this. I mean, geez. Wonder if any of those tunnels in Korea look like this.
And I'm going to be honest, this is one of the least impressive ones I've seen. They got some on here. These people make 2- and 3-story houses this same way, using the same stuff: dirt, water, mud, bamboo, sticks, hay, and they make like these 2- and 3-story houses. It's unbelievable.
Oh, now it looks like they're making one of those, what do they call those bear traps where you dig a hole and cover it up? What's that thing called? Not a pitfall, but maybe it is a pitfall. I'm not sure. There's an actual name for it.
Well, the one thing that these guys don't have is they don't have loo tube.
That's a good point. They don't need air conditioning.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Nap time. They've earned it.
They have. I don't know that I'm trusting the ceiling support system down there, though.
I was showing this to Miss Lou the other day, this same video, actually. That's how I found this when it was in my watch history from a couple of days ago. I was showing this with Mrs. Lou, and she asked an interesting question. This is obviously time-lapsed some type of way, but how long do you think it took them to make this? They built a damn water slide. Look at this. But how long do you think it took them to do this?
Does it tell?
No. They didn't do this in a day. I mean, right? This is multiple days, don't you think?
Oh, sure. And look, they messed up, too. They didn't build a ladder to get back to the top of the water slide.
They're fired.
They're slackers. That is amazing. Thank you, Waikiki, for this. Now I know what the hell I'll be doing the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah, and like I said, I fell into this rabbit hole about this time a year ago, I guess it was, and I played part of one of these videos on a night show, and then I guess YouTube figured, hey, don't forget about these guys, and because a few days ago one of these videos showed up in my recommended tab again, and I fell down the damn rabbit hole again. But I mean, just here, let me put this on the screen. This, you know how when a video ends, it does like this, where you can click on a bunch of other ones or whatever. Look at these that it's recommending me to watch. A bunch of hut videos and then Uncle Morning Show. Well, look, this guy got his trap door here. Look at this one right here in the corner. Look at this. I mean,
what the hell's that, a 3-story tower there?
Look at this. I mean, this is unbelievable. Y'all know y'all are going to look for this 30-minute video later and watch every second of it. 26 million views this video has. The name of this particular channel, if anybody does want to look it up, is Evolution Primitive Time. Who do you think's making the money off these videos, though? I doubt it's these people that are building these things, right? Somebody has struck gold filming these guys, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to figure out, all right, if these guys live in the jungle, first of all, how the hell did they get internet? Second of all, who told them about YouTube? You know,
well,
who let the secret out? Who let the secret out about these immaculate?
Well, some explorer such probably came across these people, films them, then goes home and uploads them from the comfort of his air-conditioned living room, and he's making a killing off of these people.
Peter or Greg Brady when they were on vacation in Hawaii.
Probably.
When they were trying to take the tiki back.
Might have been.
Yeah, they went looking for their lost tiki, and they stumbled across these guys. And these guys are obviously the two biggest cocks of the walk when they go down to the fish market, the local fish market on the river, and they go, oh, they're the house builders.
Well, they're wearing loincloths, but I don't know. Maybe you saw something I didn't see. I don't know if they were the biggest or not.
Jeff, what do you suppose the police siren sounds like in those countries?
That's what I was just getting ready to say. They don't have to worry about woo woo there. Maybe they got that European style, that Maybe they got that kind of style. Yeah.
Celine Driver thinks we must be suffering from sleep deprivation. Watching those videos will cause sleep deprivation. I'll tell you that, because you can't turn them off. You have to watch. You'll say what you'll be watching one of those later, Celine Driver. You might not admit it, but you're gonna watch one of those later.
And he can time it on one of his watches.
Yeah. I was gonna say you took that one right out from underneath me.
And Jeff
actually
somehow
drivers on his way up here to fix my car for me.
Okay, good. Is there anything else, Jeff, that you needed to say about the cocks of the walk?
No, I think I just about cover it. But I do have a sports related story. I know you don't want to go that route, but I've got one I thought I would share with you if you've got a second.
That's all I have is time.
Okay. There was a certain former Seattle Seahawk quarterback who might have played at Iowa State, whose last name may have been Wallace. I'm not saying that for sure. I'm just saying that's what I heard. And a few years ago, he was back for homecoming. The Seahawks had a bye week. And I happen to know a couple of the guys on the receiving corps, and I was there for media day they had a media day on Tuesday. They make some of the players available. And one of the receivers walked up to me and said, "Hey, J-Dub, I got to show you something." And he come over here, and we went to the corner of the room, and he reached in his front pocket. He pulled out a wad of $100 bills. He had 12 $100 bills. I said, "Where the hell did you come up with that?" And this particular quarterback, whose name I don't want to say, I've already gone too far, had come up to him, and he was his former roommate the year before, and said, "Listen, I know you ain't got any spending money, but I'm just paying it back. There were guys that went to the pros that came and helped me out. Now I'm going to help you out. I want you to take this and you split this with whoever you're rooming with now." And he presses this wad of bills into this guy's hands. And the guy didn't want to count. He's not going to stand there and count it right in front of him, So later on, he looks, and it's $2,400. And this quarterback's just carrying it around in cash in his pocket. And the receiver said, "Look, I can't take your money," and especially when he sees, what a wad it is. And this guy says, "Oh," he goes, "don't worry about that." He says, "I carry 5 on me just in case I see something I want to buy." So they're living in a little bit of a different world than we are.
Yeah, I was just sitting here thinking, I'm gonna say it anyway, to the Alabama fans that are listening, that we're trying to count on their finger how much money that is. That's $1,200, by the way. Just wanted to help some of these guys out.
Well, Bama fans can only count to 17. They stop at 17. That's when they run out of titles, then they can't go any further than that.
Jarvis says MacGyver ain't got shit on those two Aborigine type guys.
No, MacGyver could take lessons from those dudes.
MacGyver was something serious too. The dude could build a nuclear bomb out of a piece of aluminum foil and a chewed piece of gum.
It's amazing those guys can do all of that, yet all they're wearing is a loincloth. Looks like they would build some clothes or come up with some clothes to wear. I guess probably living where they live, you probably wouldn't want much more than a loincloth.
Well, it's because of those loincloths that Jeff was able to tell that they clearly were the cocks of the walk.
Yeah.
He was paying extra special attention.
Maybe that's where Buford T. Justice came up with the line, "There's no way that you came from my loins."
Go punch your mama right in the mouth. Yep.
Guess what? Okay, a little bit more sports, but this isn't college football though. But guess what? I finally get to watch this weekend.
XFL.
I finally get to watch the XFL. I'm gonna stream it on the. I'm gonna do a stream on the Patreon page during the Tampa Bay game tomorrow at 2:00. It'll be. I've watched parts. I watched part of a game last weekend, but that's it. Other than that, I haven't been able to catch any of it yet. So I'll finally get to sit down and watch an entire XFL game this weekend. And we're a couple of weeks into it now, and I'm still seeing more positive comments and things all over social media than I am negative. So maybe there's a shot for this league. I don't know.
Oh, it's only going to get better, Lou. I mean, you're joining in week 3. There might even be 2 or 3 receivers this weekend that will actually catch a football.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That is the goal.
That's my only complaint so far. Complaint.
Oh, somebody's telling me Tampa. So I know Tampa. So I haven't watched any of the games, but believe me, I've been able to figure out that Tampa Bay not any good.
Last week there was 2 really good games. Sorry, Jeff, I meant to cut you off there.
No, I was just going to say I jumped back in the Wayback Machine with Sherman and Mr. Peabody. Back in 1985, I went to Legion Field and spent all of, I think, maybe $10, $15. Got a seat to watch the Cliff Stout quarterbacked Birmingham Stallions play the Houston Gamblers, who was quarterbacked by a guy you may have heard of named Jim Kelly, who went to the Zoes U before he ended up going to Buffalo in the NFL. He went first to the Houston Gamblers. And so I actually saw a USFL game. I'd be interested to see the XFL. The USFL was pretty much just pro football. They didn't do anything. They didn't, doctor with the rules or anything. Like the XFL's got a couple of changes. I like this XFL kickoff. I think that's the most popular thing. I think from what I hear online, Twitter and everything, and hear on YouTube, that people have talked about it in the comment section and on the call-in show at night, if there's one thing that gets carried over to the NFL from the XFL, it may be this new kickoff.
Yeah, they're certainly not going to. I don't think they're going to adopt this extra or this point after crap. That I don't really care for. I mean, I get the concept of maybe trying to add a couple of extra points into it to make the end of these games more exciting. But one of the games I watched this weekend, I can't remember which one it was, but the team was, I don't know, they were down. Total bonehead decision their coach made, trying to go for 3 points when there was absolutely no reason for it. They ended up getting it because they got a penalty on the play, and so they went from the 10-yard line up to the 5 to get to go for it. I'm not sure if you understand how the rules are, Jeff.
Are most teams still going for one? What are most, or what are from? I know we talked about it after the first weekend, but what are most teams doing? The 1 point?
So far, there's only been, I think, 2 attempts to go for 3. The rest of it are pretty much going for 1.
Yeah, there's been a smattering of 2s.
Yeah.
Most of them are going for 1, and they're only making it about 50% of the time, if that.
Yeah. That's why we're having some really I guess you would call them odd scores in these games, but that's to be expected.
But it's just like in the college game and like in the NFL or like high school for that matter. If instead of kicking, you go for two. If you miss an extra point kick, and Alabama knows all about that, or you go for two and you don't make it, then you're chasing those points the whole damn rest of the game.
The one thing that I found out this last weekend, me and Lou talked about this during talking about the rules before the season started, the 2 forward passes thing. I was under the misconception that you could throw 2 forward passes anywhere on the field, but I found out this weekend the second one has to be from behind the line of scrimmage. So that kind of, to me, that takes out the fun of it. I was looking forward to seeing, a receiver catching a pass, run down the sidelines, and see somebody open across the field and try and throw one across the field. That's what I was looking forward to seeing. But we're not going to see that.
Yeah, that kind of be like frisbee football that they play sometimes, but I haven't seen that. And then the fact that you've got to throw the first forward pass has to be completed behind the line of scrimmage, and then the second one has to be thrown before he crosses the line of scrimmage.
Right.
I've tried to watch a couple of XFL games, and I don't know, Lou, you said you haven't been busy and haven't been able to see it. I don't know if BVD or anybody in the comment section has seen it. Has anybody seen anybody even attempt that? I haven't seen it even attempted yet.
They attempted it this past weekend.
Did it work?
No, it did not. If I remember correctly, it did not work. I mean, that's hard to do if you think about it. I mean, if you're going to try and run that play, you're going to have your first pass is going to have to be from 10, 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Otherwise, you're taking a chance on it being a backwards pass, which in that case would be a fumble if the dude don't catch it. So I don't know. There's a lot of technicalities to that.
Yeah, that seems like a rule change that was made. That, like, who was asking for that? It's like when when YouTube sent the email out and said, "Hey, great news! We're not going to show everyone's exact subscriber count anymore." No one was asking for that. Literally no one. There's a million things wrong with YouTube. You refuse to fix them. But hey, great news! We're going to round your subscriber count up or down now instead of showing the exact number. Literally no one asked for that.
Yeah,
no one asked for 2 passes to be performed on the same play like that, and the first one can be a forward pass, but behind, like, literally no one was asking for that.
Well, the worst rule, the worst law, the worst policy at your work, anything like that, is the one that nobody wants. That just gets put in just so that they're putting something in. That's what it feels like. It feels like, well, we got to do one more thing here to make us different, so let's come up with something, and that's what they came up with.
Well, you're exactly right, because what happens is these big, huge companies, and it's not just Google, but Google's just one of the biggest, but they have entire departments of people that make 6 figures a year, and their job is to sit around and think up new stuff. And so what happens is, in order to justify their job, they say, I got it. Let's round the subscriber counts instead of showing people the exact number. No one is asking for that, and it serves no purpose. What does it matter if I click on someone's YouTube channel, what does it matter if it shows me that they have 6.8K subscribers or if it tells me they have 6,820? Why would I want it to be rounded or not? Like, it just, no one was asking for that. Nobody. But somebody that makes 6 figures a year, thought they came up with, they thought they reinvented the wheel when they came up with that idea. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it also means that, I'm looking at the channel right now and it says Uncle Lou 29.6K subscribers. Okay. Let's say it's 29,604. Okay. Well, Lou might get 90 subscribers today, or 800 and go and still be at 29.6.
Yeah.
But he had a hell of a day.
Now it tells me.
Let's see the progress.
Yeah.
Let's see the progress.
I can see, it shows me when I log into my analytics or whatever, it gives me the exact number, but I just don't understand why they thought that was, like, of all just think, even if you don't have a YouTube channel, if you're watching this, you obviously watch YouTube. Aren't there things about YouTube you would change? There probably are. Is rounding up or down someone's subscriber count anywhere on that list? No. No. You know what's on my list? Stop taking 50% of the super chat money. That's what's on my list. That's robbery.
That's the top of the list.
That is robbery.
Yeah.
Take 10, do a PayPal approach. Take 10% to cover credit card processing fees, and then YouTube could still make a couple of bucks off every super chat. But I just want you to think about, just guess how much super chat I make in a month, and I'm a small channel. And then I want you to imagine YouTube taking half of that, and then think about all of YouTube. They are making an absolute killing on.
Well, I mean, it was genius
donations
on YouTube's part.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
And just so I'm being accurate, because somebody's going to say I'm lying, if you look this information up, what it'll tell you is that YouTube is taking around 30%. But depending on how you pay, if you pay from an iPhone, if you pay from an Android, if you pay from however you pay, there are fees associated with paying that way. Sort of like if you go to the gas station and it's $7 and you pay with a credit card, the gas station doesn't get all of that $7. The credit card processor charges something. Well, Apple charges YouTube to process a super chat from an iPhone. So YouTube takes that away from the super chat on top of the 30 or 35% or whatever that they're taking. And the same thing for Android. So when I say 50%, it's about 50%. It depends on how the person pays. Sometimes it's more than 50%. And they don't really tell you this, and that's kind of what pisses me off. There's a lot of people that give super chats, and they probably assume that the person they're donating that money directly to is getting all or most of that money, and that's just not that's not the case. And I didn't even know. And I remember when super chats first started, they'd only been around for a month or so, or I'd only had them for a month or so anyway. And somebody gave me $200 one night. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, I about fell out of my chair. Well, a couple of days later, and for those of you that don't have a YouTube channel, there's what's called a YouTube studio that we can go to, and it tracks everything about our channel. Everything. Watch time, what videos people are watching, what they're not watching, how long they're watching each video. And, of course, one of the things it tracks is revenue, how much money the channel is making. Well, this was a couple of years ago, I guess, when they started Super Chats, whenever it was. And so $200 was a lot of money. Like, that's enough money that I'm going to notice it when I look at my YouTube account. I'm going to notice that. It's not, a $5 Super Chat, it's hard for me to determine how much YouTube takes if I make $5 off a video because it's $5. So, but anyway, point is, someone gave me $200. And when I looked, that video total had only made like $85.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here going, what is going on here? And I emailed YouTube back and forth for a while, and Jesus Christ. I mean, you're better off punching yourself in the face than you are emailing YouTube. But anyway, that's how I found out about the processing fees, and that they keep their 30 to 40%. Then whatever fees are associated with the transaction based on how the transaction is paid, whether it's from a desktop computer, an iPhone, an Android, some other type of whatever, there's other fees, all that gets taken out. So someone donated $200 directly to this channel, and Uncle Lou got $85. And I just think that's robbery. Like with the ads, I don't mind YouTube keeping 50% of the ad revenue because they do literally all the work on that. I mean, that's a lot of work to go out and work with companies and set up advertisements and negotiate rates, and there's a lot of legwork and manpower and human hours involved in doing all that. That makes sense to me. But there's literally nothing involved in processing a super chat. Nothing other than the fees associated with it. So if someone directly donates $1, $5, or $100, the person they're directly donating that money to should get the majority of the money, and that's not right. But don't fix that though. Don't fix that. Round up the subscriber numbers so people don't know the exact number.
Well, what we need to do,
we're not going to fix that.
We need to get all these people that do these stupid decisions and have them all meet in a room somewhere. And then right when they're getting comfortable, woo, woo, shows up and says, "You big dummies."
Yeah, how do you suppose
knock some heads together?
So I don't do the PayPal thing, but if you notice, there's a lot of YouTubers that do post PayPal links or whatever. That's why. That's why they do it, because PayPal, the processing fees on PayPal is like 5% at the most. So if somebody sends you $100 through PayPal, you're probably walking away with 95 of that 100. Someone gives you $100 through Super Chat, you're walking away with 45 or 50. So that's why, if you wonder why certain people may, have PayPal links or whatever, that's why they're doing it, because it's just highway robbery that YouTube would take 50% of a direct donation.
How do you suppose the people at YouTube, the powers that be, would feel if come Friday, when it's time for them to get their paychecks, we'll just assume that they're still getting handed paper paychecks. Boss comes by and hands them their paper paycheck and says, "All right, now, John, I need you to go cash that and bring me half of it back." I wonder how they would feel about that.
Yeah.
Probably not too good.
And I want to make this disclaimer too. I hate coming on here and complaining about YouTube. YouTube has been a blessing to me. You can love your job. You can think you have the best job on earth, and maybe you do. There's still something about your job that's irritating or whatever. So I don't want it to come across as, I'm somehow. I don't like watching other YouTubers that complain about YouTube, so I try not to do it too. But for whatever reason, I got off on a tangent there with that. So I promise I'm not going to turn into somebody that complains about YouTube all the time, because I hate watching that too. I just wanted to. I just had to get that off my chest in that.
Well, I'm glad you explained it, because I didn't know that it was at the rate it was. I knew they would take a processing fee, which, just like you said, that makes sense. Somebody's got to handle the money, and that's going to require an effort, and so they're entitled to a fee. But I guarantee you, that person that gave you that $200 stock, they were giving Uncle Lou $200.
Yeah.
And they might not have given you a quarter if they would have known that half of their money was going to YouTube, or they would have just wrote YouTube a check.
Well, without going into any details, I know the person that gave him that, and if they had known, they would have given him $400.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, good for him.
So, yeah. So, there's things I would change about YouTube. Just like, I've had lots of different jobs. There's things I would change about every job I've ever had. Just like I'm sure wherever all of you work, there are certain things you would change too. It doesn't mean you hate what you do or anything like that. So I don't want it to come across that way. I consider myself extremely lucky to be able to do what I do. And without YouTube, I wouldn't be. I don't know what I would be doing, but I wouldn't be talking about college football 365 days a year if there was no YouTube. That I know. So I'm very grateful for everything YouTube has done for me, and everything that you guys that watch have done for me. But it's like nothing is perfect, and YouTube is no different. So anyway, that's that.
Along the same lines there, real quick, for those of you, and that's probably everyone listening right now, everybody orders pizza. Everybody orders at some time pizza for delivery. Think about this the next time you order a pizza for delivery. the companies that charge for delivery fees, the driver rarely gets any of that. That makes no sense to me. I mean, so a lot of people, when they get their pizza delivered to them, if they know there's a delivery charge, they won't tip the pizza guy. So I don't know what made me think of that. Probably because I like to champion the pizza delivery industry. But yeah, when you're getting that pizza delivered and they charge you $3 or $4 for delivery, if the driver gets any of it whatsoever, it's no more than like $1. So to me, I'm like, okay, then why the hell are you charging? Same kind of principle to me.
Yeah, and I only know that because I got pissed off and asked about it one time, and that's another thing that falls into the category of not being right and something that's done to purposely deceive people, because there are people that, like, I can tell you, I've never worked at a pizza place. When I see that charge on there that says delivery fee, I'm assuming the driver gets that, or at least some or part or most of that, and I guarantee you that's what they want people like me to think. You know, they don't want you to. Basically, all they're doing is charging you $3 more for the pizza. That's all they're doing.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
And so I mean, I still tip the drivers anyway, but yeah, but that's deceptive too. That's not right either.
I always tip the driver, and I have found out that by tipping the driver, when I've got a particular place in town here that I order pizza from, there's 3 that deliver in the town I live in, and I order from one. I find out when that driver leaves the store, he has 2 or 3 orders with him, but he always remembers I'm the dude that hands him a couple of bucks in cash when he gets to my door, and guess whose pizza gets dropped off first? Mine.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
When you were on your vacation last week, Lou, did you by chance order pizza while you were in your cabin?
No.
All right. Well, the reason I ask is, but back when I used to do this in the late 90s there in Pigeon Forge, we were the only place that would deliver to those cabins up in the mountains. The only pizza place out of like 4 or 5 of them when I left that would do that. Well, the owner got wind of one of our drivers when he was taking an order. When it was going up to a cabin, the people would ask if there was a charge or whatever. This guy was saying, yes, there's a charge, but the driver doesn't get any of it, which was a total lie. The entire $5 charge went to the driver. Well, the owner found out about this, so he threatened to take away the delivery charge going up there. And so a bunch of us got together. I said, look, if he takes away this charge for us going up to the mountain, let's just all walk out. And he called our bluff on it that night. He indeed took the $5 charge and kept it for the store. So I called his bluff. I got all of our drivers out. This was the middle of a rod run, like halfway into the night, when there was literally like 100 pizza orders on the make table. Myself and the 6 other drivers that night turned in all our money and left that pizza store. There was no delivery drivers in all them orders. So yeah, we all got fired, but about a week later he was calling each of us back, begging us to come back, and he actually doubled the delivery fee from that point. That, just talking about this, made me think of that.
Yeah.
You know what bullshit it was that he's going to charge these people and him keep the money. It's not fair, Lou.
Celine Driver, thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, Smokey and the Bandit's the greatest movie ever. Well, I disagree vehemently. It's a good movie, not the greatest. Jarvis S., thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, they take 50%. That's just not fair. I agree. Thank you for the $2 super chat, which is really $1. Which is really 50 cents for me, 50 cents for BVD. Thank you, Jarvis. Waikiki, thank you for the super chat. He says YouTube does it because they can. What's their competition? Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you know, there are other places you can go and upload videos online, but nothing with the reach of YouTube. So again, I'm extremely lucky and all that to be able to do what I do. So I don't want it to come off like I'm just bitching and moaning. But if I want to bitch and moan about something, I got something I can bitch and moan about. I got 2 kids, both in school. One's in elementary school, one's in middle school. And if you guys have kids, girls have kids, you know this. The school year starts, you go to the orientation or whatever. They give you here's what you need. Here's the list of supplies, right? It's like $300 worth of crap you got to bring in. 9 boxes of Kleenex, 14 things of hand sanitizer, you know, all this kind of stuff. 100 glue sticks. What they're doing with these glue sticks in these schools, I have no clue. But anyway, so that's bad enough that you got to do that at the start of the school year. But then like 20, 30, 40, 50 times during the school year, we'll get an email from the school or from a teacher or something. Hey, we're out of whatever. Need you to send more in. And yet they just caught me at a bad time yesterday. And if you're friends with me on Facebook, then you saw this yesterday. If you're not, I'm going to read it for you now. But I got another one of these emails yesterday from the teacher, and they just caught me at the bad time. And I'll give the same disclaimer I gave on Facebook yesterday. I know that this is not the teacher's fault. They're given limited resources. They're not given what they need. They don't have the money they need. Teachers have to spend a ton of money out of pocket. I completely get that. I completely understand that. And I'm not blaming the teachers for this at all. But I got an email that says, as we continue to move through the year, blah, 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 we've used up all our Kleenex. If you're able, send a couple of boxes of Kleenex. That would be great. We also need Lysol wipes, and hand sanitizer. Thank you, basically, is what the email says. It caught me at the wrong time, and I posted this on Facebook, the screenshots, but this was my reply. Good morning. Now, and clearly this was like 6 in the evening. Good morning. Go to the Columbia County Property Tax Office and give them my name and address. We pay them a king's ransom every year for this stuff. I'm not sending any more Kleenex to school. I'm not doing it. That's not a need. I don't need to buy Kleenex for 25 kids. And I'm not doing it anymore either. I'll send, my kid goes to school with what he needs. And let me say this too, because I'm a nice guy and I'm socially liberal. Not that matters, but I'm all for helping people out, especially kids who may be in a bad spot through no fault of their own, whether their parents can't afford it or whether they're just pieces of shit. If a kid can't eat, I'm all for the free lunches. You know, if a kid can't go on a field trip, I'll gladly, if the field trip costs $15, I'll gladly send in $30 and pay for the, one kid whose parents is a deadbeat and don't want to send them. I don't mind that. I'm not wiping no other kids' noses. That is not a need. That's not a need. Hand sanitizer, not a need. Lysol, not a need. This is part of the problem. Hand sanitizer, Lysol everywhere, 24 hours a day. That's why people are so sick. You're supposed to get sick. That's what keeps you from getting really sick. This is how your immune system becomes stronger and evolves and learns to fight things off. By getting a cold. Look, there's the whole snot-nosed kid reference. They're supposed to. They're supposed to. I'm not sending any more Kleenex. I'm not paying for another kid to wipe his nose. If the kid's got a runny nose, do what 99.9% of human beings on planet Earth do. Go to the bathroom and get you a couple of squares of toilet paper. Why in the hell do 6 and 7-year-old kids need boxes of Kleenex all over the classroom? I never had this when I was a kid. I had a hand and a pair of pants to wipe it on.
Had a long sleeve shirt.
This is insane. Pencils, pens, paper, great. Like I said, a kid needs money for a field trip. Great. I'll gladly help out. Kids can't. I'm all for the reduced and free lunch program and the breakfast program, all these kinds of things. I'm all for that. It's not that I don't think anyone should help anyone else or whatever. They don't have to have Kleenex. That is not a need. Lysol is not a need. 100 glue sticks? For what? They're eating it. That's what they're doing. I'm not sending any more Kleenex. I'm not. I should not have to wipe another kid's nose. I don't send my own kids to school with Kleenex. It's not because I can't afford Kleenex. It's because my kids can go to the bathroom, unroll a couple of squares of toilet paper, and blow their damn nose if that's what they need to do. They don't need a box of Kleenex within arm's reach 24 hours a day. I don't understand the whole idea that somehow parents need to supply the school with Kleenex and hand sanitizer. This is insane.
Hand sanitizer doesn't work anyway. My last wife, who was a nurse, basically explained to me that, and it was explained to her from a pharmacologist, that all hand sanitizer does is basically just spread the germs on your hand around. That's all it does. It doesn't get rid of them. It just moves them around.
Look, what happened to the time when we were all growing up? If I was outside playing in the summer and I was thirsty, I drank out of the garden hose. We'd go down the alley where they were building houses, and they had the basements dug out. I know they don't make basements a lot of times in the South, but up here they do. And they'd have a big dirt pile from where the foundation had been dug out. We'd play King of the Mountain on the dirt pile, knock each other down, go home covered with dirt and all beat up and bruised. And when one kid in the neighborhood got the chicken pox, everybody's mom sent their healthy kid over to the kid whose house had chicken pox so that they could get it, so they wouldn't end up getting the chicken pox when they were 30 and end up in the hospital. Now, everything is all tender. We've got to just tender the kids. And Lou talks about the school supplies. Hell, I think when I was in school, the last time I remember the supplies I needed was a pair of blunt-nosed scissors and the 8-pack of Crayola crayons that were flat on one side.
I'm telling you, if you haven't had school-age children in the last 10 to 15 years, either because your kids are much older or maybe you're younger and haven't had kids yet, the list of supplies that they hand you at the beginning of a school year that you're supposed to bring in and provide is absolutely insane. I'm talking several $100s.
Yeah,
and it's not just,
something always gets added to it once they get to school too.
Yeah,
there's always something else they left off.
Like the glue sticks, it's like 10 glue sticks. I haven't used 10 glue sticks in my entire life. I'm 40 years old. There's 25 kids in this classroom. That is 250 glue sticks the teacher is asking for. What in the hell are you doing with 250 glue sticks to where now it's February and you need more? What are you doing? What happened to the giant, like, pickle-sized jar of paste? What's wrong with that? Glue sticks? What are they doing with glue? Look, if you gave me a glue stick in 8 hours, I wouldn't know what the hell to do. I wouldn't know what to do with a glue stick. Why? 10 times 25. It's just insane. If the only thing keeping a kid alive is hand sanitizer, he ain't got no business being in school to start with. Why do they need 100 bottles of hand sanitizer, Kleenex, Lysol spray, Lysol wipes? What are we doing? I'm not sending any more of that.
You know why? It's because the same people that sat around and decided to round up the YouTube subscriber numbers. Those are the same jackasses that sat around and decided, we ain't got anything better to do, so let's add shit onto the parents list of stuff they got to supply at the school. Yeah, that'd be a good idea that nobody asked for.
Here's the other thing too, and I clearly put. I'm going to read it just so you know I'm not making it. This was the first line of my post. I know this isn't the teacher's fault. They aren't given anywhere near what they need. That was the first part of my post, so I got that out of the way right away, so no one would get the wrong idea. Well, guess what happens? Half the people in the comment section get the wrong idea, especially the teachers. They immediately got defensive and mad in the comment section. Okay, but here's the thing. This idea, okay, first of all, I agree that there are certain professions that I think are worth more than what they get paid. Now, we live in a capitalist society, and, you get what you're worth or what you're able to bargain for or whatever, and I understand that. Now, there are double standards, right? Clearly, right? You'll hear people, like someone works at Walmart and complains about what they get paid. What will some of these assholes tell them? Go get a better job. Stop complaining. Get a better job. But then teachers, right? What do we say about teachers? Oh, they should make more. It's not right. I agree. Teachers should make more. Police, military. I agree. There's certain people that should make more, but forget about that for a second. I live in one of the best school districts in Georgia. The average teacher in this county makes $56,000 a year.
Works 9 months.
Works 9 months. Now, I'm not saying they're. I'm just putting that out there for context. $56,000 here, and most people listening live in the South. $56,000 is a lot of money. If you make $56,000 and you're married to somebody that makes $56,000, you're living very well down here. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that means that teachers should have to go out and buy 1,000 boxes of Kleenex and all that stuff on their own. I'm not saying that. The schools and the tax money we pay should provide for that stuff. So that's not what I'm saying. But this idea, there seems to be an idea floating around that these teachers are walking around eating dirt sandwiches, and that's just not the case. Depending on tenure, how long you've been around, and what type of degree you have, you can be making in the 70s as a teacher, public school teacher, middle school, whatever. That is great money. I'm not saying that to say that they should have to spend a bunch of that money on Kleenex. The point is, there's a reason the school provides textbooks, desks, computers, projectors, a lunch table. There's a reason the school provides all that stuff and not 1,000 boxes of Kleenex. And it's because you don't need 1,000 boxes of Kleenex. That's why. That is not a need.
Well, I know that the teachers here, a good friend of mine, one of my best friends here in town, is an elementary school principal. And the elementary school here has, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 classes in each of the grades. It goes K to 5 here. That's what they consider elementary. And there'll be like 4 first grade classes, 4 second grade classes, what have you. Now he's an administrator, and he's got a master's degree in administration. I understand that, and he's a friend of mine. So I'm not, hey, you get, if you can get that money, get that money. But he makes $98,000 a year. $98,000 a year to be an elementary school principal. Okay, that's well more than twice of what I make working 12 months out of the year. And I know I don't have an advanced degree, but I do have a college degree, and I'd like to think I work kind of hard. But $98,000 a year for 9 months of work, I mean, if you can get it, I guess.
Yeah. Now, I mean, a teacher with a 4-year degree, year one, they're not making that kind of money, but they're 23 years old. I mean, how much money do you think most 23-year-olds are making? Most 23-year-olds are not making 50 or 60 grand. So, is it a struggle maybe when you first start out as a teacher and you've got student loans or something maybe? Yeah, but guess what? Breaking news. Almost everyone at the age of 23 or 24 is struggling. You're not the only ones. I don't know. I just feel like the perception doesn't match reality sometimes. And again, I think teachers spend more time with our kids a lot of times than we do. I mean, let's be real. I mean, my kids are in school 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's 40 hours a week. I see them 2 or 3 hours in the evening and on the weekends, So teachers are very important. And I appreciate, I've been extremely lucky with the teachers my kids have had. We haven't had any issues really at all with any of the teachers they've had so far in either elementary or Luann's in 7th grade now, so middle school. All of their teachers have been great. But there's just this perception out there that, I mean, you got to draw the line somewhere. I mean, I just don't think they don't have to have a lot of these. I mean, it would be nice if every kid had an iPad. Why don't we get some parents to start sending those in? That would be nice.
Oh, that's coming, Uncle
That would
Lou.
be, that would be nice.
It's coming. The day is coming where
Kleenex is
kids
just
will
not
be
a need.
required.
Kleenex is not a need. I'm sorry, Kleenex, hand sanitizer. Look, now if the teacher wants to keep that stuff at her desk because she's around a bunch of snot-nosed kids all day, great. Then buy yourself a few boxes of Kleenex and some hand sanitizer and keep it in your desk drawer. There's nothing wrong with that. Almost everybody on planet Earth who works with the public, does something like that. You go to the grocery store or whatever, almost every counter now almost has a bottle of hand sanitizer sitting on it. You handle money or whatever the case. You don't want to be around germs. That's fine. But, the idea that I, as a parent, should be expected to send in 20, 25, 30 boxes of Kleenex a year to my child's elementary school is just ridiculous. And really, for me, it's not about the money. But, I got that email, and I'm like, I'm not going out to the store right now and buying Kleenex to send into my elementary school kid's classroom. I'm not doing that.
You should have just sent a roll of toilet paper in with them.
Well, the only thing I could think is if they ask, if Lou gets an email saying, "Hey, Uncle Lou, thanks for all your contributions in the past, but we don't need any Kleenex. But do you happen to have any additional Christmas wrapping paper?" Well, then you're in like Flint.
Right.
You've got that covered.
I mean, it's like seeing a homeless man on the street with one of those "I'm hungry" signs, and you walk up to him and give him a iPad. Like, I don't, the kids need to eat. The kids need books. They need desks to sit in. They don't need Lysol wipes. I mean, they just don't.
What's a 10-year-old doing with a cell phone? I don't understand that. I mean, I cover some high school sports, not a lot, but I do some. And I'll be at an Iowa State game, and I'll see students there in the student section, and they got their phones out. Half of them ain't even watching the damn game. They got their phones out
right
in the middle of the game. And I said, "What are you doing?" "Well, I'm texting. I'm texting Amy or whatever." And I said, "You mean Amy Smith? She's 6 people away from you. Just holler at her."
My
what
daughter
the hell
does
do you mean
that.
You got to text her? She's 20 feet away.
My daughter does that. If I'll be taking my daughter and one of her friends somewhere, so we're all in the car. They'll text each other. They're both in the car, the same car. I'm like, what are you doing? But so yeah, I hear you on that. What is this?
Does she text you from her bedroom, Lou?
Oh, she don't text me at all. She don't.
Oh, okay.
No. She's.
No, that wouldn't be cool. That would not be cool.
Yeah, she's in 7th grade. She don't want to have nothing to do with me until she gets home today and needs a ride to one of her friends' house. And then I'm the greatest dad ever. North Florida white trash. It's good to see you in here this morning, per usual. He says, "Okay, boomers, LMAO." Waikiki, thank you for the super chat. He says, I will take the cleaning supplies for schools. Can we quit sending home the books, trying to turn our kids into Tupperware salesmen or whatever it is this time?" That's the other thing too. They have to sell those things for raise money for the school or whatever. Boxers are us. Thank you for the super chat, sir. I really appreciate that. Good to see you in here this morning. He says, drop bad and invite. Oh, geez. He doesn't like you, BVD. I think he says drop bad. I think he meant to put BVD, though. Drop BVD and invite a real man on your show. Me. I'm in a bad location, so I may lose you. Gator Boo. Oh, that's Gator Boo.
What people don't know about Gator Boo is he wears jorts. But now everybody does know that, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Hey, I would imagine, just from the names in the comment section and from hearing people who call in the morning, call in on the live show at night, I called in on the one time, and I think, Lou, you said, I think you're the first person talking to me saying you're the first person I think I've ever heard call from Iowa. I know there's some northern people that are on here, but most of the people who are following this show are from the South, and I used to live in the South. And the three things I remember about living in the South was that, are these three things real quick. You ain't going anywhere in the country and getting better biscuits and gravy than you get in the South. Sweet tea is the bomb. And no matter what soda you order, it's Coke.
Coke. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You say, you want a Coke? Yeah. What kind? Coke. Oh, well, I was just asking in case you wanted a 7-Up. You know what? 7-Up's not Coke, but everybody calls it a Coke. But I do have to ask, Lou and BVD, it came up, and I'm reminded of it because somebody brought up Smokey and the Bandit. He goes into that truck stop, and he orders a Diablo sandwich.
Diablo sandwich, yep.
Okay, and I heard when I lived in Tuscaloosa that Diablo sandwiches was a big kind of a Southern home food or whatever. You know, I've never in my life had anybody tell me what in the hell is a Diablo sandwich.
I have no
Does
idea what
anybody
it
know?
is.
It's
Anybody
barbecue.
I have no clue.
A Diablo sandwich, if I'm not mistaken, is barbecue.
Okay, I just always wondered.
I may be wrong. I may be wrong about that.
I had a buddy of mine said, "Don't you know some people that live in the South?" I said, "I still got a lot of friends that live all over the South, Huntsville and Decatur and Moultrie, Georgia. I've got friends all over the South." I said, "But I've never thought to ask them about the Diablo sandwich." Of course, this was the same guy. This was the same idiot that enticed me to call the 1-800 number on the back of the package of M&Ms because he insisted that the pan M&Ms that they don't make anymore. They used to have tan M&Ms in there with the brown and the yellow and the green or whatever. That the tan M&Ms had a different taste than all the other flavors, and that's why they quit making the tan. So after hearing this dumbass for 6 months talk about this, I actually called her 800 number, and the lady just laughed at me, and she said, "The food coloring that we use on the candy is tasteless. There's no taste. It doesn't matter what color it is. It could be polka dot, and it's not, and it doesn't have." So that just reminded me of some of the most stupid things you ever heard.
Well, I know one thing. Water is proof that absolutely nothing is tasteless. Everything has taste to it. I don't care what it is. And that includes M&Ms, which do, by the way, melt in your damn hands if you hold them long enough.
Well, I know there's a big difference between the water you drink in town. You go out onto a farm and you get well water. You sure as hell ain't tasting the same thing.
Yeah, sulfur water's great, isn't it?
Hey, BBD, are you ever been in part of the Vol Navy? Have you been in that flotilla? Is that something you've done before?
Shit, are you kidding me, man? That's for people with money.
Is
I've
it?
been down there on the dock once, but as far as being able to float, I mean, if they let rubber dinghies in the Vol Navy, I might be able to go someday.
We've had a dinghies reference and some cocks of the walk reference on the morning show
Yep.
today. I just felt the need to point that out.
I may put on some floaties this fall and swim up the river and see what happens.
Well, I think Bama Mike was in the comment section. Melissa May's in there. Maybe some of these people will remember because I don't know. I do not know if it is currently the case in Tuscaloosa now. But you were mentioning what were you just saying, BVD? I lost track of my train of thought now. That's how stupid I am.
I just said that I may this fall try and put on some floaties and swim up the river.
Okay. I remember now. When I was an undergrad at Alabama, if you lived on campus, you had a purple tag. No matter what dorm it was or what student apartment you lived in, you had a purple tag that was on your car. Unless you were in a fraternity or a sorority, you had a purple tag. And if you had a purple tag and there was a home game, when the sun rose on Thursday morning, your car had best be off campus. It had to get all off campus just to have room to bring all the RVs in and all the rich alumni could come in and park all over hell. Because Lou's been, I saw your video, Lou, when you were there. Bryant-Denny seats 102,000 people, and you know how many people can park at Bryant-Denny? About 8. Lou's driveway probably holds more cars than the parking lot at Bryant-Denny. It's surrounded by a Confederate graveyard that the Daughters of the Confederacy won't sell to the university, a 13-story all-girl dorm, and sororities. There's no parking at Bryant-Denny. So the alumni park all the hell all over campus and chase the students off campus, and you got a shuttle bus into the stadium. I don't know. I don't remember it being like that when I went to any other stadium in the SEC, just at Alabama. I don't remember it being that way in Baton Rouge.
Or not parking at Neyland Stadium either.
Yeah, it's like they dropped the stadium right in the middle of a neighborhood and never thought that somebody might want to drive to the damn game.
Well, at Neyland Stadium, back when I was coming up, you could actually park on Neyland Drive, right up there by the river. They don't even let you do that anymore. The only people that are parking right there at the stadium are donors that donate, an unbelievable amount of cash every year. And then there's a parking garage right there by the stadium, but I'm sure that costs an arm and a leg too.
Now, see, at Iowa State, we've got parking around Jack Trice Stadium, and there's a big, huge, I don't know how many acres. I mean, there's a huge open field. Now, it's trouble when it rains because it turns into a swamp. But there's a big parking right there, and you got to walk a little bit, but you're going to walk. I mean, that's just how it is. And then there's a huge paved, 2-3 city blocks long in between Hilton Coliseum where they play basketball and Jack Trice where they play football. And that's where you tailgate and all that in there. So it's not a problem at Iowa State, but I know it is a problem. And Lou, what's the Georgia Tech Stadium? Bobby Dodd, didn't you and Lou Jr. go up to that?
Yeah. Bobby
Can you
Dodd.
Can you park at Bobby Dodd, or is that right in the middle of a neighborhood?
That's right in the middle of downtown Atlanta.
Yeah, that's literally.
Yeah,
I've been
you
to
can't
Bobby
park
Dodd.
there. You got to park several blocks away. I'm assuming there are some parking. A deck, something. I don't know. I stop outside of Atlanta on the way there and catch the train to the stadium, so I don't even really know the parking situation there, to be honest.
The best parking that I've seen in the SEC is South Carolina, because they have the fairgrounds right there beside the stadium. And it's been years since I've been there, but every time I was there, you could park, I forget, maybe $10, $15 or whatever in the fairgrounds parking lot right there next to the stadium. That's one reason I used to love going to Williams-Brice. That, and it was a guaranteed win. But as far as other SEC stadiums, I have no idea. The one time I went to Georgia, we had relatively good parking. We had to walk maybe 3/4 of a mile to the stadium, something like that. To me, that's halfway good parking.
We caught a lucky break. There were 5 of us piled into a Jeep when we went up to this Georgia game. It was Georgia, Alabama, and it was Monday night college football, not Monday night NFL. It was Monday night college on Labor Day in 1985. That's how I can remember it. And we went there and we pulled in, and we're like, where the hell are we going to park? We can see the stadium, and there ain't no place to park. And we don't know what the hell we're doing. None of us had ever been to Athens. And we're all just driving around going, Jesus Christ, is every single chick we're going to see hotter than hell? We should have gone to Georgia. And we just happened across a whole mob of girls from Kappa Kappa Gamma with all their Georgia gear on. And they said, oh, you all from Bama? And we said, yes, miss. Yes, we are. We're trying to find a place to park. Well, we'll let you park here. And by God, she let us park right behind. These gals let us park right behind their house, and we were just, boom, right there to the stadium. It was fantastic.
Alabama!
So we saluted Georgia, said, no, we can't say anything bad about the Dogs now. Hell, they just took care of us.
Alabama!
That happens occasionally at SEC stadiums.
It never happened to you at LSU. LSU. It never happened to you at LSU. The LSU fans, the corn doggers can get on here and bitch at me all they want in the comment section, but they're the worst damn fans. I had more trouble with LSU fans than I ever did with Auburn fans, because you knew what you were getting with an Auburn fan. You just ignored them. And like with LSU, the people weren't even polite. Even saying, well, "Thanks for coming to the game." When we'd see people come to Bryant Denny, if Mississippi State or Tennessee or whoever, Florida, whoever was there, you always welcome them. Hey, thanks for coming up to the game.
Yeah.
Hope it's a good game. You're going to be polite. You at least be polite. We didn't experience that at all in Baton Rouge. So and then to make matters worse, it was 14-14, and LSU throws this long ass bomb. It gets down to the 8-yard line with 2 seconds left, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, we're going to leave this. Everybody's going to be on it. We're going to have 90,000 LSU fans. We're going to have to hear it from because we're going to win with 2 seconds left. And the guy comes out there and shanks a 24-yard field goal, and the game ends in a 14-14 tie because there wasn't any overtime at that time.
I'm not a smart
And
man.
so 90,000 people or whatever left the stadium like they kissed their sister. It was just terrible. I almost would have rather lost.
Well, in Alabama, if 90,000 people left like they just kissed their sister, it'd be like a party, wouldn't it?
It might be.
Not a smart
In some
man.
parts of Alabama.
I'm not a
If you
smart man.
listen to Saban, 90,000 people don't show up because he's got to play he's got to play an 11 o'clock or a noon game. That was a little silly. Hey, somebody told me that SEC Media Days is going to be Saban and Mike Leach together or on the same day. Can you imagine that? Two completely opposite. How more opposite can you get than Saban and Mike Leach? I said this when I called in.
And
talked
Lane
to Lou
Kiffin.
at the night. I told Lou when I called in on the night show one time, Mike Leach is the guy that you hope is in the booth behind you at Waffle House at 2 a.m. because he's going to have some stories.
Slim Shady, good morning, sir. Good to see you in here. It's been a while. Thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, I've missed a few shows, so to all the Knowles fans that may have forgotten, hashtag get a real engine. Yeah, we discussed that in detail actually earlier on this show, sir. So anyway, welcome back to the channel. Good to see you, sir. Didn't mean to interrupt whatever super important thing it was you guys were
It's hard to manage your.
we're talking about there.
Don't miss a moment. Live TV from 70
stop
plus
it!
channels.
What happened?
Is that the next door neighbor lady again?
I'm doing Bluetooth, bitch.
That's it. Put it in her place.
With two professionals.
I think you need to get a woo-woo. I think you need to get a woo-woo siren and have it on the outside of your house.
Go home to Greenbow,
That way you can alert the neighbors when you're doing Bluetooth.
Yeah, I hear you.
You should go home to Greenbow, Alabama.
Well, woo. It is 10:06, and
Yep.
my car is not going to fix itself.
Time to wrap it up. Jeff, thank you for coming on. That was great. I even saw a few people complimenting you in the comment section. And believe me when I tell you, that is a big deal.
Yeah, I saw it. I'd like to thank everybody in the comment section. I see we got 67 watching right now and 64 likes. 3 people owe you likes. Hit that, mash that thumbs up button, people. It's what helps Lou out.
And
You're already subscribed or you wouldn't be here. I'm assuming you're already subscribed, or what the hell are you doing on this channel if you're not? Mash that like button. We all love Lou, and then don't forget DVD too. Go over and check him out as well. These guys are keeping us entertained, letting us talk about the things we want to talk about, sharing things with us, and where else were you going to see something like Kansas Rutgers? That's going to live with us all forever.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, and remind people real quick again before you leave where you graduated from college.
Believe it or not, no one will believe this. I actually graduated with a 3.65 from the University of Alabama.
Greenbow, Alabama.
With a degree in communication.
Alabama.
I can't say that. That would be just wrong. So I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
Did I take watercoloring? No, but I did take color. I did take a 1 credit connect the dots.
Well, no. What I was going to say was You graduated from Alabama with a 3.65. Does that mean the number of teeth you had in your head? But coming from a guy like me, that just would be completely wrong to say. So I'm not going to say that. I apologize.
You know, if the bastards hadn't have made me take a junior level science class, which I thought I could get away with doing chemistry to fill out the stupid requirements for your degree, I would have done better than that. But that was my only C. I got a C in chemistry, and by God, I celebrated. I drank my ass off that night. I thought, whoo, I'll never have to deal with that ever again.
Alabama!
I guess the people that live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. People with no teeth in their mouth shouldn't make fun of gumps.
Well, you know, people that don't like the gumps, I hope they don't watch ESPN, because ESPN is loaded with 3 schools: Alabama, University of Missouri, and Syracuse. Most of the people who are on Sports Center, or who are their play-by-play guys, or who are on some of their talk shows, went to school at one of those places. Reese Davis, Chris Fowler, Mike Tirico, Adnan Kirk. The list goes on and on and on of people that went to one of those 3 schools.
That's interesting, actually. I would never have guessed that. But...
Yeah, Reese Davis and Chris Fowler are both Alabama grads.
I knew there was a reason I didn't like Fowler. I like Reese Davis.
It really is. It really is, and thank God for these co-hosts. But all right, appreciate all you guys tuning in. Any last words, BBD?
Nope. I don't have a thing in the world. I don't have a thing in the world to say. Thank you guys for all the super chats today. Thank you for showing up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning. We love you. We couldn't do it without you. Of course we couldn't do it without you.
Yeah.
That's the understatement of the year. We love you guys. Come see me tonight, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Lou's usually there. We'll have some more fun.
Yeah. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. If you want to be a guest, hit us up. We'd love to have you on the show. LouandBBD@gmail.com. Let us know. We'll get you scheduled. We'd love to have you on. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. Thank you so much for supporting the channel through the Super Chat feature. Big shout out to everybody in the chat section this morning for keeping my comment section the best on YouTube, in my opinion. I'm biased though, but anyway, appreciate you guys watching.
Listen,
yeah.
If you got a kid going to school in Augusta, send the damn kid to school with some Kleenex. All right, cut Uncle Lou a break.
We'll see you guys Monday morning at 8 a.m. Have a good morning.
Yep. Uh-huh.